Okay, this is a little bit of an introduction to the video you're about to see. The video you're about to see, I made it and I uploaded it, and I discovered that I was having audio problems. For all I know, this introduction piece here may have audio problems too. I don't know. I have an issue with the camera that I use, which is a smartphone. Occasionally, the audio goes up and down, in and out, and stuff, and gives people problems, myself too. And when I played the video back, I realized I forgot to clean out the microphone. Apparently, with this smartphone, maybe from having it in my pocket, maybe it gathers dust. And I have to remember every time before I make a video to clean out the mic, otherwise it's going to come out with a weird sound. So I apologize in advance. I was going to shoot the video over again, but I realized it's too much trouble, and frankly, I like the way it turned out the first time, except for the audio. So I hope you'll enjoy it. Please bear with the sound, and apologies in advance. One of these days, I will get a microphone for this. Hi everyone, I'm excited to do this video. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. A lot of fans of the Beatles. I recently did, as you know, a video where I was counting down what I felt were the 25 least favorite Beatles songs of mine. And then I thought, you know, during that particular list, I didn't include anything that the Beatles did that were covers originally done by other artists. So I thought maybe I'll just do, in my opinion, top 25 Beatles cover songs, songs that the Beatles covered by somebody else. And I did a lot of searching to make sure that I got all of them down here. And it's funny to me in a way, in a good way, that I got exactly 25, which is the perfect amount. Not too many, not too little. Now that's to say I did not include the BBC tracks, you know, so that's a whole other thing. Maybe one day I'll do a BBC songs countdown as far as ranking. But I left all the covers out for BBC. That, of course, leaves out, among other people, Elvis Presley, because the Beatles didn't cover Elvis Presley, which is kind of interesting. Of all the covers they did in their regular catalog, you know, they did That's All Right Mama, that Elvis did, and a couple other songs that Elvis also covered. You know, in the BBC sessions they did it. So I have my list here, and I know this is going to be a pretty lengthy video, so I want to go kind of fast. And that's it. I'm going to go from 25 down to 1. These are only my opinion. And I'm going to say again, a lot of people may think by now that I'm just saying this because I'm too biased to the Beatles, but the truth of the matter is every one of these songs I'm going to name here, I enjoy to a more degree than others. But I enjoy all of these, and I never have to skip them. I like them all. But I'm going to try to be a little critical in a way, too, if I can, okay? So we're going to start out with number 25. I went with the song Maggie May, which is a little ditty. It used to be sung. The Beatles didn't even write it, you know, and it's just a little short ditty. I don't know how long it is. It's a little thing that occurs on the Let It Be album. It's not even a full-fledged song, really, so very easy, considering it's not a Beatles original. It's kind of a silly sing-along, and it's rather short. It's fun. It fits on the Let It Be album, but if I'm going to go from 25 down to number 1, that would be number 25. Number 24. Now it's tough here. The next two, 24 and 23. Which one I'm going to put at 24? Which one I'm going to put at 23? For 24, I went with "Act Naturally," which is the Buck Owens song that Ringo Starr sings, and Ringo's a delight. You know, it's a lot of fun. I love that he sings "Act Naturally." He's going to be in the movies one day, and he wound up being in the movies, so that's kind of interesting when he sings it. It's a fun song, different kind of style for the Beatles, but I always call it a kind of clunky song. Still enjoy it, but it's among the least of them. I'm going to put them in preferential order. So number 24 is "Act Naturally." Number 23 is a song that I'm sure everybody, well, at least 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10, Beatle fans will put dead last. And that's the Beatles cover version of the song Mr. Moonlight. Mr. Moonlight is often considered the very worst Beatles song. And I don't know, it's kind of in the bottom. I didn't put it in my bottom list. I don't know. I think what saves it for me is the fact that I'm a John fan, and I like the passion that John sings with. The style is not really very good for the Beatles, the style in which it's sung, but I like John's screaming intro, and I like the passion with which he vocalizes the song, so that's why it's not dead last for me, but it's not among my favorites, so I put it at number 23. Number 22 is bound to confuse a lot of people. I know there's some fans of it, including my girlfriend loves this song. It's the Beatles version, on with the Beatles, of Till There Was You, which it's a beautiful song. It's sung beautifully by Paul. It's got some great guitar on it. I love the guitar solo in the middle. But I don't know, for some reason, even though I enjoy the song and I can listen to it okay, and it's good, it's just not on my favorites. So when I'm listening to the With the Beatles album from the UK, or even when I listen to Meet the Beatles in the US, I kind of don't really feel it flows nice. That kind of gets in the way a little bit. I don't hate it though. Now number 21, and this is going to close out the bottom five for me. It's a song that I'm guessing would be on most people's bottom list. I don't know. It's the Beatles version of the song "A Taste of Honey" that Paul sings from the "Please Please Me" debut album. And I enjoy the song. When I was a kid, I couldn't stand the song as a boy, but I enjoy it quite a bit now. Actually, I still think Paul sings it. I don't know if I'd say poorly. He sings it a little weakly, in a way, but at parts of it. But for some reason, I still enjoy it. I don't enjoy it in the top 20 cents. Okay, so I put it in the bottom. Okay, then we go. Now we're down to the 20. This is the top 20, you might say. For 20, I put the song "Devil in Her Heart," which is off the With the Beatles album. George Harrison sings it. It's the first George Harrison vocal. Not a bad song at all. I think the original version was from the female perspective, "Devil in His Heart." Um, I enjoy it. It's just not a favorite. That's as easy as I could say. Now we go to number 19. We hit the Beatles for Sale album, and I go for what the train comes by. Number 19, I've got the song "Honey Don't." It's another Ringo Starr vocal, and it's a lot of fun. It's a Carl Perkins song. Ringo kind of makes it his own in a way. He's kind of made it like his song over the decades. He does it in concert and everything. But same thing I got to say for a lot of these songs. It's not among my favorites. I put it at number 19. I like the part in there, of course, where he says, "Rock on, George, one time for Ringo," which is good. Number 18, I put, keeping with the right now Beatles for Sale album, "Kansas City" / "Hey Hey Hey." I enjoy the Beatles. I'll enjoy the way Paul sings it. I should mention something I meant to say at the top, but I forgot, so I'll interject that now, is that I think the Beatles, in almost every case, do a song better than the original. I'm a big fan, I heard these songs first. I heard the Beatles covers before I heard the originals in just about all cases. I think every case here. So I'm kind of partial to them, and I love the Beatles. But in the case of Kansas City, I think I like Wilbur Harrison's version better than the Beatles, I think. But let me put it this way. The Beatles is right there. I mean, it's not bad. But I think I like the original Kansas City better. Then we go to number 17, and I'm going to pick on George Harrison a little again for the Beatles' versions of "Chains." "Chains," a song written by Goffin and King, an early song, and I think the Cookies did the original version. I like the Beatles' version of "Chains," but I like the original Cookies version just as much. I think it was the Cookies. If I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll be told. But yeah, "Chains" is number 17. Number 16, I went with a song that I think the Beatles did much better than Buddy Holly, and I am a big Buddy Holly fan. If my buddy Matthew was out there, Matthew Street. I know you love Buddy Holly, but I like the Beatles' "Words of Love" better than the Buddy Holly version even. I think the Beatles, the harmonizing between John and Paul, is among the best they've ever done on any of their songs, original or covers. The harmonizing is beautiful between John and Paul on "Words of Love," and I give it number 16, and I prefer it to Buddy Holly's. Number 15, I know I got some fans of this song out there, and I'm a fan too. Number 15 would be a Carl Perkins song that Ringo covers, and that's called "Matchbox." It's relegated to a Stray EP in the UK, which is the way it was intended, but I'm much more familiar with it here in the US on the Capitol album, "Something New," as a concise whole with some other songs. I love Ringo's version of Matchbox, and but I kind of tossed it down around 15 out of the top 25. 14 is a track that's very maligned lately, and it's funny because in the old days I would have given this a higher ranking myself. I think I've listened to a lot of the stuff people have been saying about it. I've let it affect me a little bit in a way. I don't know why. The song Dizzy Miss Lizzy from the Help album. A lot of people think that's one of their worst songs. Now, I don't know how a song with John Lennon screaming out his lungs and his guts, and I always saying, giving it his all, tearing his vocal cords apart with all the passion he can muster. I don't understand how that's like not a good song. A lot of people say because of that guitar lick that goes on, and they even make a little mistake in it, which I kind of, if you know the moment I'm talking about where they make a little bit of a mistake, I like that moment. I like a little mistake like that one song that kind of like it becomes a little offbeat part of the song. And I say that's kind of repetitious. A lot of people don't like it. I like it enough right now to put it at number 14. It probably would have been higher, but I think even now when I listen to it, because I heard so many people bring up the guitar repetition, that's all I hear when I hear the song now is that damn guitar. I like the version they do at the Hollywood Bowl very much. Now, number 13, I think this is a song that gets underrated a lot, a cover song that gets underrated, the Beatles version. I'm going to give George some props here. Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, another Carl Perkins song, which I think is just really good in a rockabilly sense. Love the way George sings it. Love the guitar in it. Guitars. I love everything about it. Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby off Beatles for Sale. Really good job by George. Number 13. Number 12, I know one person in the vinyl community, and I'm not going to say who it is because I'll let him make himself known in the comments. I want to spoil his thunder. But I think he said this is his favorite of all Beatles recordings, favorite Beatles song, and that's number 12, Anna, from the Please Please Me album. And Arthur Alexander song. And I really like the song a lot. Some people may not know, it's on the Beatles' first album, and when John was doing those sessions, he had a cold. And the cold varies during the recording session tape and thing. And his voice sounds a little different, a little thick or something, maybe slightly nasally or something, not really like John so much. And I think that's kind of what adds to it in a way. And that's number 12. Number 11, I'm going to go with great song by the Shirelles, I believe, and it's called Baby It's You. Again, John's vocal, just like Anna from the first album, sounds a little like he's got a cold or something, I think. But I love it. It's a great vocal performance anyway. It comes in at number 11. That, of course, leads me to the top 10. And this is not easy. So many of these kinds of videos have the same words in it. Not easy, difficult task, etc., etc. And this is no exception. I couldn't find 10 what order do I put them in? And they're all good, all 25, really. So what do I do? These are the 10. Number 10, I started with Smokey Robinson's You Really Got a Hold on Me, which I think is a beautiful recording by the Beatles. They do a great job of it. Both of them are equal. I like Smokey Robinson's and the Beatles about equal on that. Number 9, Please Mr. Postman from With the Beatles. Indeed, both of these songs are from With the Beatles. You Really Got a Hold on Me. And number 9, Please Mr. Postman. Love the Beatles rendition of it. John gets really excitable in the end when he's talking about deliver the letter, the sooner the better. I really love the way he sings it. I'm a little kid, I love that song from a little kid. Number 8, we bring some Chuck Berry in here with Rock and Roll Music. And let me tell you, the Beatles version is right up there with Chuck Berry's. I often say, I love Chuck Berry's version of Rock and Roll Music. It's hard to beat it, but the Beatles come pretty damn close. It's just as good. In some ways better. It's a little bit faster. But I can't say anything about Chuck's. It's great. And I can say the Beach Boys. I despise the version of the Beach Boys slow and unsteady rock and roll music. I don't know what they're thinking with that. It sounds like anything but rock and roll to me, their version. I thought I'd throw that in there. Now we go to number 7. And number 7, I'm going to go back to the old story of, This was relegated to a toss-away EP in the UK, but on the album, on the US, something new, along with Matchbox, you got number 7, Slow Down. Uh, Larry Williams, a outstanding performance by the Beatles. Balls to the Wall, vocal by John. Again, just great rocking songs, great singing, great screaming. Number 7. Now, the next song, as number 6, I was going to maybe put right up there. These could be interchangeable, but I thought this song might even be a little better the way they perform it. It's the song "Bad Boy," and "Bad Boy." Again, much like "Slow Down" before it that I listed, same thing. John just screaming, rocking his heart out. Really great guitar, great instrumentation. I don't think I've heard the original of that yet, but it's going to be pretty hard to beat the Beatles version for me. In the U.S., it got a premiere. It was kind of put out ahead of England on the Beatles 6 Capitol album. So it was kind of a treat for the Americans. They got it ahead of the UK people. Now we're down to the top 5. And again, what order to put these in? Well, I'm pretty solid with number 1 and 2. I didn't know how to do 3, 4, and 5. Okay, what's great about this is all 4 Beatles are represented in the top 5. Number 5, I went with Roll Over Beethoven, the version that appears on With the Beatles, which is the first version I heard and loved as a kid. Again, George does a great job. I love the guitars. So many times I say that I do love the version by the Beatles. Now, I also, of course, love Chuck Berry's, and I'm not going to dare say one is better than the other here. They're both on equal footing, as far as I'm concerned. Now we go to number 4. This is where I give Paul McCartney his pick. I went with Long Tall Sally. Long Tall Sally, relegated to that EP. That was kind of in England. That the name of the EP is Long Tall Sally. But if you want to get it along with Roll Over Beethoven, as more of a concise package on an album, buy the U.S. Beatles second album. Okay, Long Tall Sally is a masterful performance by Paul. It's hard to say that it's better than Little Richard's. It's as good as Little Richard's, only in a different way. It was recorded in one take, I believe. Paul captured that in one take, which is amazing. And that brings us to number 3. And here's where Ringo gets his due. Number 3 is the song Boys. It's a Shirelles song, and they didn't change the gender relation in the song. But boy, that's Ringo's first vocal performance on record. I think officially. Sometimes you just say these facts and you think maybe you're forgetting something. I love it. Ringo sings his heart out. He rocks on there. I love Paul's bass. I love Ringo's drums. It's one of their best rocking tracks from the first album, Please Please Me. Now, number 1 and 2, here's where it got a little tough for me because both of these 2 songs are easily, there was no contest. I didn't have a hard time picking these 2 as number 1 and 2 out of the top 25 covers. The only question was which one was going to be number 1, which one was going to be number 2. So for number 2, I went with the John Lennon heartfelt, passionate vocal of the song Money, That's What I Want. Barry Gordy song. I get goose pimples when I hear John Lennon, especially the stereo version. I like the stereo version of the song Money, That's What I Want, much, much better than the mono version. It comes more alive and it's more full. And I love it again on the Beatles' second album. You can buy the Beatles' second album plug on Capitol, and you can get, in the top 5, you can get Money, Long Tall Sally, and Roll Over Beethoven, all in one shot, folks. It's out of this world. In some ways, I would put that among John Lennon's best ever vocals, group Beatles, original Beatles songs, or solo Lennon songs, among his all-time best vocals. Now, you all know what's left for number 1. And although I find Money and this song equal, I felt this song I had to give extra credit to and make it number 1 by a hair. And that's what's a Beatles classic now, Twist and Shout. It's a song the Isley Brothers originally did. And I don't think the Isley Brothers have any claim to that song anymore, personally, after the Beatles version. I think out of all these songs here, more than any other song, the Beatles version of Twist and Shout absolutely made it their own. They reclaimed that song. When you think Twist and Shout, you think the Beatles version. In a lot of ways, it's almost like an original hit that they made. It's so popular. It's such one of the biggest played Beatles songs, biggest loved Beatles songs. And it's all done again by John Lennon shredding his vocal cords in one take. Because as a lot of you know, and some of you may not, so it'll be interesting. But, again, when the Beatles recorded their first album, John had something of a cold. He was not feeling well, and he had to sing like that. And at the end of the album, they needed one more track to complete the recording, and they decided to do Twist and Shout. But by then, John's voice was completely ripped into shreds, and there was practically no way he could sing it. But he sang it with a sore throat, maybe a throat lozenge or two to try to get that lozenge stuff working. They turned on the mic, and in one take, he performed that gut-wrenching version of Twist and Shout with him basically tearing what's left of his throat into bloody shreds. And a little dramatic, but that's what I like about it. It is a Beatles classic. And in one take, just like Paul did Long Tall Sally. Well, that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Let the comments flow. Have a good one.